Segment 3 is overview of eligibility. First, I'm going to talk about different ways to be involved in BRE-SPAD. There will be one applicant organization. This is the organization that submits the BRE-SPAD application, and we consider this to be one of the participating organizations. There is an option of having additional participating organizations, but this is not a requirement. If desired, additional participating organizations work with the applicant organization, and only one member organization of a group of participating organizations serves as the applicant. So in other words, there can be, let's say, for instance, 3 participating organizations, but one of them is the applicant. Now, all of the participating organizations have to meet certain eligibility requirements. I will describe these more shortly in this segment, but for now, I will just say that they must either be an HBCU, which is a historically Black college or university, a tribal entity as defined for this program, or have a limited amount of NIH funding and biomedical PhD conferment. The important part about the participating organizations is that they receive, in particular the applicant, receives the BRE-SPAD developmental funding. Additional participating organizations may receive, if that is the structure of your plans, it's not required, but they are eligible to receive the BRE-SPAD developmental funding, which is the majority of the type of funding that the program offers. Now, if an organization does not meet those above criteria but would like to participate in a program, the third way to be involved is what we call a partner organization. This, of course, is also optional. A partner organization collaborates with the participating organizations, usually to provide a particular type of expertise or service. For instance, this could mean that the partner organization receives funding for consulting or service fees. And for that reason, because the partner does not receive the developmental funding of BRE-SPAD, but for instance, may receive service or consulting fees, the partner organization does not have to meet the specific eligibility criteria that the participating organizations need described above and subsequently. So, overview of organizational eligibility to elaborate on what I just talked about. The applicants and participating organizations have to be a higher education institution or a nonprofit with or without 50c3 status, and must be a resource-limited institution as we define in the funding opportunity for the BRE-SPAD program. As I mentioned, this would be either a historically Black college or university, a tribal entity, which defined here would be either a federally recognized American Indian Alaska Native tribe as defined under that statute that you see listed there, 25 USC 1603-14, or a tribal college or university, a tribal health program, or a tribal organization as defined under the statutes listed there, or a consortium of 2 or more of these tribal entities. The third type of resource-limited institution for the BRE-SPAD program does not have to be an HBCU or a tribal entity, but will need specific criteria that I will now detail, and of course, is in the funding opportunity. The third type of resource-limited institution at the time of application cannot have received support from NIH totaling more than $6 million per year in both direct and indirect or F&A costs in 4 of the last 7 fiscal years, other than C6, S10, or G activity codes. Some of you may recognize this. This is what you see in many NIH R15 programs. So this is a determination that is almost identical to most NIH R15 funding cutoffs. However, for BRE-SPAD, there's a second one here, and that is that at the time of application, these organizations cannot or must have awarded 5 or fewer, or 0, 5 or less biomedical research doctorates on average per year in the most recent 5 years of data reported in the publicly available National Science Foundation National Center for Statistics and Engineering and Science data. We list here the major fields of study that you can find on this website that you would use in this determination. That includes biological sciences, health sciences, chemistry, and the biological and biomedical sciences designation within the engineering category. Now, I realize that in particular for this third type of resource-limited institution, this looks complicated. It's sort of a mouthful. This is a very specific eligibility. However, on the BRE-SPAD webpage, we have an online guide to help you determine this eligibility. We have diagrams and instructions to walk you through, one, how to determine the NIH funding cutoff for BRE-SPAD, which you can look up in Reporter, and 2, how to determine this biomedical research doctorate conferment from the NSF NCS website. So we have all this information to walk you through this to make it easier for you to figure this out. And then, of course, you'll confirm this with your institution. Next, I want to talk a little bit about what the eligibility is for BRE-SPAD program directors or principal investigators, PD/PI. For all NIH programs, they should have the skills, knowledge, and resources needed to carry out the proposed project. We ask that the contact PD/PI, which is the person who is responsible for all the correspondence between NIH, the contact PI must be from the applicant organization. And each participating organization that is an organization of higher education should have at least one PD/PI that is an academic administrator, such as a chair, a dean, or a provost, but the role that you choose is up to you as the participating organization. If an applicant is not an organization of higher education, we also would like a PD/PI in a leadership position, but you will define what that is based on the structure of your organization. That concludes this segment.